That can all lead to income dips. And then, of course, we've got Christmas kind of smack back in the middle, which is great sometimes, but that can also bring up a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of stuff going on around family, taking the time off work, whatever it is. And of course, because it's that season of also having the cold, cold physically, but also we can find ourselves that we're more likely to be ill. So I want to talk about this spooky season and what we're going to do about it. You're watching the Stable Business Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Bush, and I'm here to chat all things equine business with a new episode every week from me or the best in the biz. Now, before we get started, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to click the bell to be notified when a new episode drops. I am so excited about this series, which is all about spooky season. And I'm going to be running this series for the next couple of days as an extra special bonus for you listeners and for those of you that watch also on YouTube. And it's all about the things that spook us in our business and what we can do about it. And I've got some really great topics lined up. And I'm going to do a daily podcast from now until 31st of October, which of course is Halloween, as a little special, and then we're going to go into planning for November. So today our topic is all about the spooky season, like coping with the fact that we are now heading into winter. Things are changing and a lot of us are running seasonal businesses and what we are going to do about it. So the concept of this series is that I'm going to be talking about all the things that often spook us as business owners, throw us off track, throw us off the course. And so I've got my notes here and I'm going to work through them so that we do that. So the spooky season, why am I referring to this period, end of October through to January, pretty much as the spooky season? Because this season is where we are more vulnerable. There's moments where we are just a little bit more anxious. We're worried about things in our business. It could be the fact that we are dictated to a little bit by the weather. The weather tends to be a bit more unpredictable at this time of year. A lot of our clients can only sort of come and go. We might lose business. In addition to that, there is the additional cost of the fact that the horses often take up more energy. It's much harder to do them in the winter when we've got the care, when we've got to do the mucking out, when we've got all the other stuff. In addition to that, the lack of daylight can affect our own energy. We've got the dark nights that are coming in, which means that we have to sort of squish the work into the daylight hours a lot, which can often feel tricky. That can all lead to income dips. And then, of course, we've got Christmas kind of smack back in the middle, which is great sometimes, but that can also bring up a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of stuff going on around family, taking the time off work, whatever it is. And of course, because it's that season of also having the cold, cold physically, but also we can find ourselves that we're more likely to be ill. So I want to talk about this spooky season and what we're going to do about it and how we can make sure that we are ready to head into our spookier season of our business in the best form that we can be. Now, I often talk about the fact that actually in businesses, we tend to have moments of ups and downs anyway, and there are always seasons of winter in our businesses, even if we are females anyway, which I tend to work off. Like even with my natural cycle, I tend to have a winter every month and I need that time of down, that time of rest in order to be able to grow. It's a really good time for us and it's something that we shouldn't necessarily be scared of, but it can throw us off course if we don't have a plan for it. So what are we going to do about it? So I've got a couple of questions. So I want you to even think on these answers. Perhaps you want to journal around them, but they will really help you to get yourself ready. So I want you to ask yourself, like, what is spooking me in my business at the moment? What am I afraid of in the future? Because again, when it comes to fear often stands for future events that aren't real. They haven't happened yet, but a lot of the time they can manifest and they can actually cause that knot in our stomach, cause that worry and stop us doing what we need to do in order to get out of it. Because sometimes what we focus on, we get more of. I tell you that all the time. What we focus on, we attract. So we need to get ourselves into a position. Now, this came up for one of my clients recently, and we were on a one-to-one call, and she was like, I've got to this, I'm really worried about money. I don't know how I'm going to get through. Like, we're in a better position than we were, but still I've got bills to pay, I've got staff to pay, I've got all this stuff. What we're going to do, I don't think we're going to do it. And so I said, okay, what do we need? And we worked out the numbers. And do it. I just can't do it. I don't know how we're going to do it. It's impossible. We can't possibly do it. So I said, okay, step back. We're looking at the big picture at the moment. We need to break it down. So actually, when we then looked at her numbers from last year, what they did last year, we then went and looked at what they were doing this year, what they were forecast to do, what we could do in order to hit those targets. We broke it down into not just that 3 month period between like November and January. We then went, okay, how much do we need to make each month? Is that doable? And by the end of our one-to-one session, she was like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. And that's what we need, because from that place, we can actually step forward, working from a place of fear, from a place of where we're restricted, where we're worried, where we're feeling vulnerable, but we actually close ourselves up, doesn't help our businesses. And I know it's scary because we have to get ourselves into a position where we're open. And when we're open, we also have to be open to the bad things as well as the good things. But we can do that. So I want you to ask yourself, like, what is spooking you at the moment? What are you worried about in the next couple of months? Is there anything that you're worried about? Why are you worried about it? And what is the best result that you could possibly have? Like, what is possible? What is possible? Dream a little bit for me here. Like, I want you to dream as crazy big as you can. Yeah. If you're thinking, oh my goodness, I can't do that, dream. Yeah. Showing you possible. We're going to sit with it for a minute. We're going to get yourself so that you feel more confident and able to do that in your business. And then from that place, okay, so if I need to do that, what do I need to do? And we're going to then backtrack it. So then I want you to ask yourself, how do I make sure that I can do this? So this is a case of, going and looking at your goals, thinking, okay, say for example, your plan was you need to make 30 grand over winter to cover your horse costs, right? Scary stuff, right? Yeah, totally scary. That's a scary number. That's a really scary number. So say for example, okay, in order to do that, you were going to do roughly aim for a target of £10,000 a month. Okay, a little bit less scary, but then you're thinking £10,000, that's still a lot. So then I want you to break that down into your offers. So what it is that you're putting out there, what it is that you're selling, how many of those things do you need to actually sell in order to hit that amount? And play with it, sit with it, see what's possible. And then from that amount, like, okay, so you could then say, right, I've got an offer. I'm just going to pick out a number off the top of my head. So it's £100 to work. And say a session is £100. So if I was looking at getting £10,000, I'm going to get the calculator out now. I should be able to do the maths, but my brain is just too tired today. So that would be 100 people paying £100 would get us £10,000. Definitely. Okay. So I should have been able to do that super easy. Normally my brain works, but today is not the day. I've just had call after call after call. Okay, so we are going for 100 things of 100 per month. But we can see, how do I sell 100? That's a lot. So now we're going to break that down even more. So how many weeks have you got? So say you've got 4 weeks. That's 25 a week. How many is that a day? That's 5 a day. If you aim for 5 bookings a day, you would hit that 10K, £100. So, and that would still give you 2 days off a week. Yeah. So work with it, play with the numbers. And from there, you'll be able to plan for profit. You'll be able to get a plan B. You'll be able to get a plan A. You'll be able to get a plan C. Yeah. And be excited about it. Like, let's have some fun. I'm a big Disney World fan, and I always want to go to Walt Disney World to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. And I want you to do that with you. Like, okay, I'm going to have a not so scary Halloween party. I'm going to get myself into a position where I'm going to look at what I've written of, and I'm actually going to say, right, I can turn this around. And from that place, you can actually make sure that you are not going to have a spooky season. You're going to have a season where you can actually have some fun, where you've actually got some plans ahead, where if things aren't going quite as you hoped, you can change the plan because you've already thought up some other ideas and you know that it's possible. And from that place, you are going to find that between October and January, your business is going to still be able to thrive. So my next question to you is, in order to do that, so you don't have a spooky season, like, what do you need? What support do you need? What would help you to get there so much quicker? What would your business say that you could do? So, for example, it could be work with me. Like, you could go and join the Stable Foundations Hub and just get the tools and the templates and get the support from the Facebook group. And it's a bit of a do-it-yourself thing. Or you could then say, no, I'm going to make sure that I'm joining Hub Plus, so I get group mentoring calls and I get opportunities to stay on track and accountability. Or you could say, do you know what, I'm going to work with Jenni one-to-one. We're going to plan this program. We're going to get it out. We're going to hit the 2024 running, and we're going to make sure that our business is not scary for the rest of the year. So that is my call to action for you today. If you're interested in working with me, head to jennibush.com. That's Jenni with just an I, Jenni dot jennibush.com. And of course, have a look at the Stable Foundations Hub programs, whether you want to do one-to-one group or the course. There's also some extra free resources on my website, of course, that will really help you to do this or get in the Equestrian Business Support Network. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Do let me know what you thought, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care.